What's going on YouTube? Welcome to how to use water mixable oil colors. We are going to be using Cobra talents. And for those of you watching live, apologize, I am about 10 minutes or so late. I was out walking the dog and lost track of time. But anyway, those of you that are watching this as a live or pre-recorded video, let me tell you something. I figured something out with water mixable oil colors that will make it so much more pleasant for you to use it than any other experience you may have had before. Let me just start by saying I figured something out with water mixable oil colors that is way more, it just is so much better than anything I've ever done before with water mixable oil colors. And I will say that the way we paint this leopard that you're going to see here today is a method that is so easy. It is so easy. You will be able to do this with a lot of ease. So we're going to go ahead and run the footage here. We're using Cobra Talon's water mixable oil colors. We're going to have it on a wooden palette, as you see there. So all the colors are on the wooden palette. So we have black, white, primary yellow, yellow ochre, vermilion, madder lake, that's pyrrole red, excuse me, pyrrole red, and raw umber, sap green, and ultramarine blue. Everything that I'm using today, including the brushes, is linked in the description box of this video. Hey Tipu, hey Suzanne, Canvas Dancer, Paula, welcome. Everything I'm using is linked in the description box of the video, but also I finally have my Amazon links back. So if you're interested in buying the materials that I'm using and you use those links, I will get a little bit of some financial support if you buy from those links from Amazon. But that's up to you. But anyway, everything, every single color, every single brush, my easel, the canvas, the thinner that I'm using is going to be in the description box of this video, like everything, including my favorite background brush, which I don't even think I use here. So first thing we're going to do is tone the canvas with a neutral gray that's somewhat bluish. So I'm using black and white. Ivory black is kind of blue, but I added a little bit of the pyrrole red to it. That brush right there is not a Silverbrush. It is Princeton Catalyst Polytip Bristle. Hey Karen, Princeton Catalyst Polytip Bristle, which is linked in the description box of the video. So as I'm using a handheld palette, I'm going to have to describe everything I do to you in terms of color, describe it to you directly. So that was black and white, thin out the paint, and added a little bit of pyrrole red. Now here's the thing about the water mixable oil paint. You need to know this. If you thin it out with water, it is crap. So if you thin out water mixable oil paint with water, it is crap. Even Cobra. Trust me, I really like Cobra. It is my favorite brand to use for water mixable oil paint. And I would thin it out with water in the past, and I was good with it. But there's a problem with it. When you thin it out with water, it just, yes, it thins and it cleans, but it is so hard to control. It is a genuine pain. So, you're probably watching this because you want to use water mixable oil paints and you want to use it in such a way, and I'm going to start running the footage now. You want to use it in such a way that it is a healthy, clean substitute, and you don't want to use acrylic. Don't bother with acrylic. Acrylic is great to use if you're just getting started with painting and you don't know that water mixable oil paint is a thing. But if you know that water mixable oil paint is a thing, don't bother with acrylic. Water mixable oil paint is the best for you to use. Now, I have thinned out the paint with Spike Lavender Oil. Spike Lavender is going to be so much better for you to use than water. And here's the thing, spike lavender is not toxic for you or the environment. Spike lavender is absolutely safe. It smells really nice. Your studio is probably going to end up smelling like a like a spa of some sort. It is a really nice um, medium to use just because of how just it just smells nice. It's like a spa in some sense. It is great to use. I'm gonna have to justify the reasoning behind this because it's very it might be controversial for you that you want to use water mixable oil paints, and it's probably something I'm going to have to defend for the majority of the video. Spike lavender is very safe for you to use. It is not going to harm your environment. It's not going to harm your pets. As long as you have some ventilation, the smell eventually goes away. Not that you want it to, because spike lavender smells really great. So that I'm just defending it. Hey Tweezle, hey Beanpot, is this more like watercolor than oil at that point? No, it is just like traditional oil paint. It is just like traditional oil paint. Hey Paula, what's in it? Linseed that is modified? Absolutely. So water mixable oil paint is made by a modified linseed oil. Modified linseed oil. So it's modified such that when it interacts with water, H2O, it breaks down the bonds in the water mixable oil paints. So it is so easy to clean. This is just super easy to clean. And when you clean it with soap and water, it falls right off. Even though you're using spike lavender to thin out the paint, it falls right off. This is the biggest thing that I have figured out with the water mixable. Now, in terms of the technique, there's two things to focus on: technique and materials. Here's what we're eventually going to have here. This is what we'll eventually have. And I paint this in about 45 minutes, give or take, some filling in the background and stuff, but about 45 minutes. So the technique is the next thing that we're going to focus on here. But that's what we're going to have as a finished result. And the final painting is going to be posted on my Instagram so that you can see it and download it, and you can paint from it if you're interested in recreating this painting. Technique wise, kill off the white just like you saw me do there. Kill off the white from the blank canvas there, and then start to go in with your outlines. I went in as precise as I could, as you saw there, with the outline for the silhouette. And now that I have the silhouette, I'm going in with the darks of the eyes, the darks behind the ear, and once I'm sure that I have the drawing that I want, then I'm going to go and fill in the background, and I'm going to fill in a light for the light of the leopard, and then we're going to fill in all the details. Well, thanks, Paula. So Beanpot, you said you've been using baby oil when painting indoors. You find that it cleans the brushes well and doesn't stink. Excuse me there. Baby oil, interesting. Never heard that one before. I don't know if it's a drying oil. If it is a drying oil, I don't think it is, because I guess it's meant for human stuff. But anyway, as long as it cleans the brushes well, that is good. But I would only use that to clean the brushes. But good. And you use baby wipes for cleaning the brushes too. Very good, very clever. I did make one water mixable video a long time ago, and I would have definitely done it differently these days. But one of my colleagues used olive oil, I think, or vegetable oil or something. Do not use that, everyone. If you're watching this, if you're interested in water mixable oil paints, do not introduce cooking oil to anything art related. Just just don't. Just don't. Salem is. So you wrote spike lavender is too expensive. There's no alternative. Of course, I mean you can thin it out with water if you want to, and it will handle similar, but it is just not as good with. Yes, there's an alternative to spike lavender, but you're not gonna like the answer. It's going to be just Gamsol. However, you can thin it out with water. There's another alternative to the alternative, and that's going to be safflower oil. Safflower oil is a drying oil. It is not that expensive. It thins out the paint pretty well. Don't forget that Cobra Talons also sells its own thinner. I have not tried it yet. Maybe I should try it. But Salem, Salem, the water mixable oil paint can thin out with a lot of things. It can thin out with water. It can thin out with Gamsol. It can thin out with spike lavender. It can thin out with safflower. It can thin out with pretty much any medium that you want with traditional oil paints. So you don't have to use spike lavender. But your closest, probably cheapest, safe alternative, if you're thinking about air quality, is probably going to be safflower oil or the thinner that Cobra sells. Both of them are going to make the paint dry a lot more slow. So that's the thing to know. It's going to dry much more slowly. But if you can thin it out with Gamsol, if you're not that worried about, Gamsol is not going to harm you right away, or even in the next 50 years. It shouldn't, unless you have a ton of it. But the advantage here is that the water mixable oil paint can be cleaned with water. It's so much easier. I'm probably gonna start using it myself, to be honest. It's just so much easier to clean up. I live in an apartment, 1-bedroom apartment with my wife and my dog. I absolutely hate spending a long time cleaning my brushes. And this is easy as can be to clean your brushes. Bean pot, olive oil will not dry. It'll never, like you said, it'll never come out. It's just no. So from Tweezel, yeah, exactly. Exactly, good response there. And now what I'm doing color-wise is I'm using the primary yellow, white, and yellow ochre. And I'm letting it interact with the canvas, which, by the way, is a cotton canvas, cut from a cotton canvas roll. And it is, I probably should have put a cork board in the description box, but I didn't. It is stretched by using tacks on a cork board. I should have mentioned that earlier. Really convenient way to paint without having to stretch a canvas. And if I feel like doing something with this painting, if I want to stretch it, I can cut it off and stretch it however I want. I can basically crop it however I want, or I can glue it onto a panel if I want to. Very convenient. So from Beanpot, you wanted to try these paints when painting outdoors. They seem easier to manage than traditional. I will say easier to manage in the sense that you can thin it out with water is good, or clean it with water is good. But essentially, everyone, water mixable oil paints are better than traditional in the sense that they're so easy to clean. I mean, so easy to clean. That's what makes them better in some aspects. Another aspect that makes them better is that they're cheaper. Cobra is a lot cheaper, and I said for a while I wanted to use a substitute for my cadmiums, and I'm using a substitute for cadmiums. So it's cheaper and it's less toxic. Suppose Doggy gets into my materials. Well, Dog gets into cadmium red, I'm probably going to freak out. Dog gets into my remote control, I'm probably going to freak out. let's be honest, but dog gets into anything, I'd rather it not be a cadmium. So Pyrrole Red is not something you want to brush your teeth with, but if my dog gets into it, I'm gonna have a little bit more comfort in mind than a little bit more peace of mind than if doggy gets into say cadmium red. So that's one thing. Um, so from Tweezel, you wrote you've only been trying them out, but you found that Winsor Newton seemed to dry quite dull. The Cobra ones you like better. You're slowly building up your Cobra tubes. Uh, so that's good. That's good. I'm glad that you like the Cobras. Remember, everyone, I finally have my Amazon links back. So every single thing is linked in the description box of the video, minus the cork board, and you're able to go down there. And if you're interested in purchasing something and helping me out at the same time, you can click on those links. And if you click on the link and for some reason you decide to buy, I don't know, a TV or whatever, as long as you clicked on the link, it should give me a commission, which is going to be very helpful for me. I'm just letting you know. So now what am I doing? Now that I added the yellow, I started to add some of the darker accents for the fur. Darker accents that are curving away from us, curving away from the central light. And the very last thing I'll do is add the patterns for the leopard, as you see here with the finished painting. Last thing I'll do is add the patterns. So I want to have everything down before the patterns. And believe me, if you get the drawing down and you put in the background and you put in the light for the cat, and then you put in these dark accents, everything is so much more simple. It's the simplest way you can possibly paint a leopard. It is so easy, so easy to paint this big cat. And I can't quite tell you the size of the painting. I didn't measure it. I just cut out a piece of cotton canvas, but it's probably somewhere around 20 by 20. So 20 by 20 inches. So larger is better in this case. Larger is easier for you to work with. Salem, the reference picture. I don't usually show it, but I might be able to. Let me check my email. I sent it to myself, I don't know, a while ago. It might be on my iPad. Yeah, I think it's on my iPad. I may be able to link it at some point, but I actually don't know where it is. I used, what did I use? I used Unsplash, I think. If I find it on my iPad, I can send it. Hey, Tweezel. Oh, good. I'm glad that you like big cats.
Around at the crowd, there's J.R. Burkhart from Phoenix.
That's just I was watching a pool match on YouTube. Let's see if I can find it. I thought I had it on my iPad. So it was on Unsplash. Hey, Libertas. But definitely, if you want to paint along with this one, I would definitely use my Instagram, which is going to be linked in the description box. A good question from Paula. Before we get into that, the next stage in this process, after you add those dark accents for the fur of the cat, is going to be to add the light of the face, the light parts. So this is similar to how I painted my puppy last time, but so much easier and so much smarter. The next time I paint my dog, I'm going to use this technique. It's so easy. Let me tell you, it's so easy. So going in with the light parts of the fur, I'm going in with them after I have the gray of the canvas, after I have the light yellow of the fur, and then the dark accents. And then after this, I'll start adding the darker gray accents for the fur. Let's see. So from Paula, what's the difference between oil ground and gesso ground for priming? So, one of the best things about working on an oil primed surface is that you already have a layer of oil paint, so you don't have to worry about fat over lean as much. Of course you do, but not as much because you already have a layer of oil paint down, and an oil ground is going to grab the paint much nicer than acrylic. Acrylic is just cheaper. It's cheaper and it's going to grab the paint a little bit less. However, with the acrylic, if you want to use water to thin out your paint, you can. You absolutely can use water to thin out the paint if you have an acrylic tone. That's the big difference. And I'm trying to find that reference. I'm not trying to hide it from everyone. It's on Unsplash, I believe. So once I find it, what I did was I found it and I screenshot it. And once I find it, I'll post it. There it is. So I found it, and I'll post it. Like I said, I'm not trying to hide it from you. Okay, so now the next part of the process is I'm actually going in with, I'm going to pause it right there. That's primary yellow. Something happened here with my email. What was that? So I'm using the primary yellow. And what I'm doing is I am adding the primary yellow to the painting because I want the brightest yellow possible, and it's going to interact with the surface that I have on the painting already. So I'm mixing directly on the canvas. I'm mixing directly on the canvas, and it's going to give a much nicer textural effect. You see how I'm using the palette knife there? So I'm using the palette knife to kind of gently scrape to create a nicer effect there. So just the primary yellow right onto the canvas. This is important because when I go in with the dark spots of the cat, there is no going back if you're working wet on wet. Just like I said, right there, primary yellow. That's what it's called. That's what I was using, which is kind of like a cadmium yellow, but it is more transparent. All of these colors are more transparent than what I'm used to with traditional oil paints. And Cobra actually has cadmiums. Maybe I should try them out to compare them, but I mean, if I'm using a safer alternative, then what's the point in my mind? But maybe it's worth a comparison or so. I don't know. We shall see. So now, let's see the link here. See if I can double check it for you. Let me make sure that this is the correct link. Yeah, that's the correct link. So I'm going to post it in the comments for you. Like I said, the references of humans, I usually don't post it because I don't want you to want to copy the photograph. But with a cat, we can chill out a little bit more, have it a little bit more, like relaxing, not necessarily trying to make it, make it like a Rembrandt or a Caravaggio or something. But anyway, I'm going to post it here, copy and paste it. It's on Unsplash. So it's a copyright-free source. Copyright-free meaning you can do anything with it except for try to use the photograph itself for monetary purposes. So feel free to use it with whatever you want. Draw from it, paint from it. You can sell it, and it's perfectly free for you to use. But anyway, that's the reference for you, and it's linked in the comments. Yes, I'm using Spike Lavender, but I will say I really didn't use it much after thinning out the paint initially. Good question from Paula. I used the Spike Lavender just in the beginning and a little bit throughout the painting, but not much. As you saw, there was a clip there where I went straight in with the tube of paint. That shows you kind of how transparent these colors are. So yeah, they are a little cheaper, as you can imagine, than say Michael Harding cadmium yellow medium or Old Holland cadmium red, right? But just use more paint and it makes up for it. That's what we did. We just took it right out of the tube. So yes, I'm using Spike Lavender throughout the entire thing, but not much. Hardly at all for the duration of the painting. Hey Rocky, welcome. Oh good, you want to try it, but in charcoal. All right, no problem. I will say to the entire world or whoever is interested, if you are not using oil paints because of the cost and because of the environmental factors, my hair, I'm gonna go super sand. I'm gonna tell you, this is your solution. This is your solution. And yes, Spike Lavender is expensive, but you're not gonna go through a ton of it. You're gonna use it to thin out your canvas, and that's what you're going to use for the most part, because the water mixable is it's quite thin on its own, so it is much easier for you to use than the traditional when it comes to cleaning. And dare I say, now we are entering the pattern for the leopard. Here is again what the painting will eventually look like. This is what the painting will eventually look like. So we're going in with one pattern at a time, going from the top down, and I'm trying the best that I can to not make all of the spots equidistant from each other. Instead, I'm trying to find the scatter plot, if you will, of the patterns, and I'm giving the pattern just as much emphasis as anything else. I'm not just randomly sprinkling on these patterns. It's very important. For color, I'm using burnt sienna, alizarin red, and ivory black. I don't want to use straight black because I don't want to put bullet holes on this wonderful cat. So make sure that it's not straight black. Hey Dweezil, no need for quick questions. You can ask as many long and complicated questions as you want to. It's all up to you. Let's see. Other essential oils make any difference to the paint? You have loads but not Spike Lavender, rosemary, lemon. I honestly don't know the answer. I will say, as long as it's a drying oil, you might be okay, but I would Google that. I can't tell you specifically if rosemary or lemon will work. I can't tell you that because I don't know the answer. But I will definitely Google it and make sure that it is a drying oil. If it's not a drying oil, then it will not work because it'll never dry. Never dry. Hey Rocky. Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, scatter plot. That is. Yeah, that is something that came from my training and math. You are correct. It's just a random set of data, I guess, that's in a specific path, just like a scatter plot in statistics. but anyway, yeah, I'm glad you caught that because sometimes I don't even notice that. I will say, someone suggested this painting last week, and if you're watching this right now, please let me know because I did this because you asked me to. It was a very specific request. Paula, I missed your question. Let me check. It was a very specific request. All right, Paula, which question did I miss here? Okay, did you have any blending issues since Cobra dries slow, and how does lavender affect the blending? I didn't have any problems with the blending in terms of like mixing color, like wet onto wet mixing. No problem at all. And I will say with the spiked lavender, it handles a lot better than with water. I had no problem with it. And the slow drying doesn't bother me because I was only going to do one layer. Paula, it was you. Oh, good. Yes. I'm glad that you're here. That was such a specific one, and it seemed pretty interesting to me. So, yeah, I'll bring it over here and check if it's dry. I painted it on Friday. Today is a Tuesday, so Friday. What is it? Here's my math degree not coming out. So let's see. That's Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. 4 days. It should not be dry. If it's touch dry, I will be astonished. So I'm gonna go get it. So it should not be dry. So looking at it, I will say, just looking at the reflection of it, it is definitely not dry. If I were to try to work on this now, water mixable oil paint is a little bit more lenient than traditional, in the sense that you can basically keep working on it even when it's in between drying, because it's just meant to work that way. If you go to the Cobra Talon's website, the guys, the scientists, whatever, they will say that. Thanks, Paula. Let me check the background real quick. Maybe you can hear that. And you can look at my finger. The background is actually dry. 4 days and the background is dry. That's something. The white is definitely not dry. The white is definitely not dry. The yellow should not be dry. Y'all. Now you see, I wouldn't be petting this cat in real life. The yellow is, this part of the yellow is dry. This part of the yellow is dry. But the primary yellow, remember when I put the tube? The primary yellow is not dry, which it wouldn't be dry even if it was traditional oil paints. But the drying time is actually expedited now with the spiked lavender. The drying time is actually expedited with, I need a cloth here. Let's just use a chair. Anyway, the drying time is expedited a little bit with the spiked lavender. So there you go, another problem solved. The drying time. 4 days, I would not expect water mixable oil paints to be dry in any aspect, in any part of the painting, but it is. It is. So Paula, I'm glad you asked me to do this. Very glad you asked me to do this because I've discovered something about it that I just didn't know. I just tried it on a whim. Just let's see, use spike lavender, and dare I say, it is very pleasant to use. I actually started a studio painting with the same colors, same layout on my palette. Um, which again, everything is listed in the description box of the video. Every single tube of paint, a roll of cotton canvas, which I recommend you buy a roll and not just a canvas stretched already. It'll save you a lot of money. The brushes, the exact brushes that I'm using are down to the sables. The sable brush is the best for detail. I don't know if I used it in here, but it is uh, all linked in the description box of the video, and feel free to click on them. And hey, if you're trying to buy yourself a new TV, a new pair of shoes, a new pool cue, if you want to buy something that's not art related, you can still use the link. Just click onto it, the Amazon link in the description box, and anything you purchase, Amazon will throw some change down my way, which is going to be very helpful with me, very helpful to me. So from Tweezel, you'll just experiment with the oils you have, no problem, no problem. Traditional oil paints will handle pretty similar. Really, the only difference is the cleanup. That's the only difference. So from Paulo, let's see. Would love to see the movement of water. Could you paint horses galloping in water like a beach? Oh, okay. Now we're getting even more specific. Oh, okay. You mean horses on water? Okay, I thought you meant with water. I was gonna say, I'm telling you the glory of painting with the water mixable with spike lavender, and then you want me to use water. You mean galloping on water? That's a possibility. I'll tell you what, I'll write it down. I can't make any promises with that one because I have to look at the references. I'm gonna write it down on an envelope I probably should have opened months ago. I hope this isn't a bill. But anyway, I'm gonna write it down. Now that I'm doing that, so I've written it down on an envelope that I hope is not a bill that I should have opened a long time ago. But anyway, one thing that I should talk about that I said that I would talk about last time. Hey Barbara, welcome. Tweezel, do these links work when it sends us Amazon to the UK? It should, yeah, it should. Amazon. The great thing about Amazon, it should work with the UK. I can't imagine it not working with the UK. So unlike Jerry's Artorama and whatchamacallit, and unlike Jerry's Artorama, Amazon should send throughout most of the world. So UK shouldn't have any problems at all. And I found that the prices are actually the same. I don't see any difference. Sometimes what some art stores will do is they will give you a certain percentage off time of the month. So I would double check that for sure. But when I checked, it was pretty much the same price. So let's see, from Tweezel, you have a amazing reference photo of two horses running in the sea. It's on your paint one day list. Oh, cool. Well, Tweezel, feel free to share it with me. I know you're on my Patreon, so you want to share it with me, because I'll actually get started with it pretty soon. Okay, so let's ask everyone that question now. And everything I did was just adding the scatter plot, basically the patterns, making sure that each of them are not perfectly equidistant except for the whisker parts. Just basically scattered it on there. Thanks, Tweezle. Definitely share it with me, and we'll see. So what I'm going to ask everyone is, what would you like me to talk or paint next time? What would you like me to focus on next time? Imad Havi. What would you like me to focus on next time? And I have to apologize. I'm supposed to talk about perspective a little bit. So in terms of perspective, we are actually looking up at the cat slightly. And the best way to find it, Barbara, you want me to paint birds? Maybe we can have birds and horses galloping. That's a lot, but I'm gonna write it down. I'm glad you're suggesting this. My channel is mainly about human portraits, but I gotta make a living somehow. So I'm trying to make paintings that will be a little bit more versatile in the community somehow. Rocky charcoal or graphite or charcoal of anything. So I've written it down. Bird riding on a horse. Bird riding on a horse holding a charcoal stick. That would be funny. And I'm going to pause it right there. That's a sable brush. That is a Silverbrush pure red sable. Cat's tongue size 4. Very specific things. And it is linked in the description box of the video, and you can purchase it pretty much almost anywhere in the world. You can use the link to purchase it, and it is the best, I will say. I've been painting long enough to tell you it is the best detail brush to use. A cat's tongue brush. See, you can even use the back of it. You can do that with any brush, to be honest, but it is the best detail brush because the sable itself, and that again, that's the back of the brush. So again, you can do that with anything, but the sable brush is so much, but it holds paint. It holds more paint than synthetic, yet it's soft. And the cat's tongue shape, remember, it's not made from cat's tongues, and it's so fitting that we're using a cat's tongue brush on a cat's eye. But the cat's tongue shape, it is like a filbert when you press down, but when you don't press hard, it's like a round. That's the best thing about a cat's tongue brush, because it's shaped like a cat's tongue, and it has the best of both worlds there. So from Barbara, if I want some African animal photos, you have hundreds. From your 2 trips to Africa, 200 of zebras alone. Wow. Wow, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, you can post it on the virtual classroom if you want to share the pictures. I don't know if my email can handle 200. I already got a warning from Google that my email's almost full. But on Facebook, you definitely can. So Tweezle, you need detail brushes for your oil paints. You've been terrified to use your good watercolor brushes. Yeah, definitely. You can use watercolor brushes if you want. Now what I'm doing, everyone, is I'm using a palette knife to scrape the detail of the whiskers. Just the palette knife to scrape the detail of the whiskers. So from Paula, how about an alizarin underpainting of a field of flowers, impressionist style? Once again, a very specific one. Alizarin underpainting. I couldn't use anything other than alkyd for that because alizarin is a slow dryer. Field of flowers. You know, field is a word that I often misspell. All the time. Let's see. Yeah, zebras do have a lot of patterns. Elephants with scavenger birds on back from Rocky. Alright, so it looks like we're starting to get into a whole different genre here. So elephants, scavenger birds. So I'm writing it down on an envelope that I should have opened a long time ago. Of course, Barbara, great to see. So Tweezle, you used the cat's tongue brush already? Good, good. Thanks for the suggestions, Paula. Very good, very good. So in terms of perspective, I apologize to Stephanie Thompson. I'm supposed to talk about perspective. I don't know if you're here, Stephanie, but the perspective, we're looking up at the cat because we can see the under shadow of the cat. And rightfully so, we would be looking up at the cat because we're probably witnessing the cat photographed from a distance. I don't think anyone's going to be that close, want to be this close to this cat. I don't think it's the cuddly kind of cat that will use the litter box and be there for you whenever you need a comforting hug. So this photograph is probably taken from a distance. The cat is probably sitting on some kind of ledge of some sort, and you can see the underplane of the jaw. That's a dead giveaway. You can also see the top plane of the upper eyelid as it starts to fold over. So that's another telltale sign. You can also see the bottom of the nose. It's another telltale sign of the perspective there. And believe it or not, you saw most of this in real time. All I did was skip over when I filled in the background and when I filled in the yellow in between. So this painting definitely took most of 45 minutes, very fast. The technique is super easy. You can definitely do this very quickly, very efficiently. There you see the sable brush is so nice to use because it holds the paint so well. And again, the colors are very simple, very simple. And the red there is pretty much just pyrrole red and white added into the dark blackish brown for the nose. It's so simple. It's incredibly simple. Oh, thanks, Tweezle. I'm glad you liked the process. And it goes to show that the water mixable works really well, wet on wet. And there you have it. There is the completed painting. It will be posted on my Instagram in case you want to recreate this painting. I also posted the picture in the comments of this video. I'll also edit the description box for you, so I'll post it in the description box for you as well. But there it is. That is the completed painting. But wait, there's more. I'm going to go back and we're going to take this one step at a time because it's a very simple And we've got a lot of suggestions. We've got horses galloping on water. We've got birds. We've got anything in charcoal. A lizard underpainting field of flowers in an impressionist style. Elephants with scavenger birds on the back. Not a single one for portraiture of humans, but that's okay. That's okay. I mean, anything you're interested in, just let me know, and we will do it. What matters, though, is your support for these videos. Right now, we have again an all-time low in views. We have an all-time low in general. So, oh, thank you so much for the super chat. That helps out so much. That helps out a lot. Thank you, Barbara, for the super chat. That makes me feel a lot better, even though I've got an all-time low with views. That definitely helps out a lot. So Tweezel, you're still trying portraits out too. Good. So we thank you so much, Barbara, and the super chat actually looks like my puppy. That is cool. And thank you so much, Barbara. We will go and we'll do a little summary, a brief summary on this. And I need to learn how to do this with YouTube Shorts because I'm falling behind. I'm not doing YouTube Shorts. So Canvas Dancer, you're always up for human portraits. I'm gonna write it down just because somebody said it. Human portraits. Human portraits. So in the beginning, we had a blank canvas, and you can see right actually in this clip, I'm using black and white, and you can see a little bit of a violet, which is from the Pyrrole red. So a warm gray. In the beginning, warm gray, and then we go in with the outline. You see there, as precise as possible. That's the key to this method, as precise as possible. Oh, thank you for the super chat from Tweezel. I'm going to have to bring my puppy here to say thank you as well in a second here. So thank you for the super chat, Tweezel and Barbara. That helps out so much. Again, even though the view count is at an all-time low, your support here is so appreciated. Thank you so much for the super chat. The outline is so important here. See how specific the outline is. See how specific that was. That's very important, very critical, because with that outline, I can then go in with the dark of the background and then the light of the inside shapes. Super critical, very critical that those outlines are as specific as possible. And then, of course, we went in with the dark. Whoop, too fast. We went in with the dark of the background. See that? That's the next step after the outline. Say outline is step 1. So let's see, from Barbara. You wrote, you have a beautiful picture of a woman. You took it but need her permission to use it. Probably. I mean, if she's some kind of celebrity, I mean, I don't know. Just for legal reasons, I typically ask for permission. But probably. Oh, thank you so much. Another super chat. Let's keep them coming. This is definitely making my day. From Paula. Thank you so much for the super chats, everyone. Let's keep the super chats coming. I will definitely go ahead and bring Puppy now to say thank you. But this is step number 2. Actually, let's say tone the canvas is 1, outline is 2, and then fill in the light and dark is 3. Light and dark is 3. So that would be step 3 right there for you. And then step 4 is going to be dark accents. Step 5 is going to fill in the light for the cat. I'll bring Doggy here. Ooh, come on. Hey, come here. Come on, Doggy. Doggy. All right, here is Ugo to say thank you for the super chats. He says, thank you. I got some more doggy treats and some more kibble. Thanks to the super chats. He says, thank you so much. Thank you. Puppy is growing exponentially. I mean, I could pretty much witness him growing, like from the morning to the nighttime. He's bigger. So fill in the lights. Step 5. Lights there. And let's count the yellow as the same step as filling in the lights using the primary yellow. And then step number 6 will be fill in the dark accents for the light. Fill in the dark accents for the light. I think that's step number 6. I already lost count. Step number something. I don't remember anymore. And then the final, not the final, but almost the final step is going to be the leopard pattern. So put in the leopard pattern like a scatter plot. Very quick, very simple. The only thing that can go wrong is if you make it equidistant. And Christopher, yeah, Thundercats. If you make it equidistant, so just make sure that the patterns are somewhat scattered. And then some details for the eyes. And then we throw in some whiskers. And then some detail for the nose. So as you can see, the eyes, the nose, and the whiskers, those details came in last. So I didn't start with the details, I added them in last. And that's about it. That's all it takes here for this one. I don't know what that is, but I don't think, I don't know. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. So I'm not gonna take any action unless I know what that is. What I will do is probably take the chat off. I think I'll take the chat off of that because I don't know what that is. So you're writing the same thing. So I'm going to put this user in timeout. I haven't had to do this in a while, so I'm a zero tolerance person, so I put you in timeout and then I reported you to YouTube. I reported you for harassment. Yeah, so I am not forgiving. One thing is I have a pretty good memory. So blocked and reported to YouTube. Haven't had to do that for a while. And Doggy says, I'm gonna bite you. That's what Doggy says as he's trying to yawn here. Or he's gonna bite me. He says, any spammers out there, I'm gonna bite you, I'm gonna bark at you, I will devour you. And that's what Doggy says. And yeah, good luck with that person. But anyway, so the process, once again, white canvas, tone it, outline it, fill in the background, fill in the light for the cat, put in the dark accents for the cat, put in the light for the cat, put in the shadow for the dark of the light for the cat, then put in the leopard pattern, and then just details for the eyes and nose and mouth, and that's it. Put in the details for the eyes of the cat, the nose, and that's it. Now, if I were smart, I would use that as a YouTube short. I just don't know how to do that. And I'm going to post the final picture on my Instagram. So you wrote, Tweezle, Instagram is terrible. You block so many every day. I don't get too many on my Instagram. I'm actually not very popular on Instagram. But I do post these on Instagram so you can paint from them. Your cat has an Instagram page and you get a lot. Oh, wow. I think your cat's more popular on Instagram than I am. So usually, as a rule of thumb, spam kind of means that you're somewhat popular. But again, thank you so much for the super chats. Puppy Hugo here says thank you. Thank you so much, Paula Hall and Tweezle and Barbara for the super chats. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. We've got some more income so we can feed Puppy here. Take him on his grooming sessions, take him to the vet, everything he needs. He is very thankful as he chews on my hair. Very thankful. Gonna pay for his training sessions so he doesn't chew on humans anymore. Very good, very good. Thank you so much for the super chats, everyone. So the suggestions for next time we got were human portraits, horses galloping on water, birds, something charcoal, alizarin underpainting, field of flowers. So this is what we're gonna do because I'm feeling adventurous these days. Human portraits is going to be 1. Horses galloping in water is going to be 2. Birds is going to be 3. Charcoal is going to be 4. Alizarin underpainting field of flowers is going to be 5. Elephants with scavenger birds on back is going to be 6. So we've got 6 different options, and I'm feeling adventurous, so I'm going to do a random number between 1 and 6. We're going to use Siri for that. So random number between 1 and 6. Random number between 1 and 6.
The answer is 5.
We landed on 5, which is definitely... Oh man, that one's going to be really hard. Okay, so alizarin underpainting field of flowers impressionistic. You heard it, Siri. Landed on 5. Now with the impressionist underpainting of a field of flowers, when you say underpainting, do you want me to go in with color, or do you want this to just be an alizarin painting? For example, start it with alizarin and then go in. So Paula, I think this one is specifically your suggestion, I think. I think this one was yours. So this is going to be more of a landscape, we'll say. So who suggested that? I'm trying to find it. Maybe I'm feeling too adventurous. Add color. Tweezel wrote not all alizarin. I mean, it's possible as long as I use, as long as I'm careful about it. So go in with color. Okay. I'm feeling adventurous, but I don't know. I use Siri to land on it, but we shall see. We shall see. I will have to figure that one out. So from Christopher, are iron oxide powders good for paint? Let's see. It says the light fastness is forever. Maybe if you're talking about like a yellow ochre, yeah, they should be. Yeah, I think landing on the alizarin field of flowers is kind of probably the more difficult one. We're gonna do best 2 out of 3. A random number between 1 and 6. And if we land on that one again, it's meant to be. Random number between 1 and 6.
It's 6.
Okay, now we landed on 6. We're going to do this a couple times, and if we land on 1 twice, then it's probably the one that was meant to be. Random number between 1 and 6.
It's 1.
So that's 1. So for right now we have 1, 6, and 5, which is human portraits, elephants, alizarin underpainting of a field of flowers. Random number between 1 and 6.
It's 2.
Now we landed on 2. It's all even throughout. Random number between 1 and 6.
It's 5.
Are you kidding me? We landed on 5 again. We landed on 5 again. That's just saying something. All right, Field of Flowers it is. Field of Flowers it is. And then maybe we'll do the other one with the horses galloping. But it said Field of Flowers, so let's just say a landscape of some sort. Paula said forget the field. Okay, we'll forget the field. Who knew this would be so much fun? Random number between 1 and 6.
It's 2.
Oh, we landed on horses galloping twice now, everyone. Horses galloping twice. Siri probably does want flowers. So as it stands, we landed on horses galloping twice. Random number between 1 and 6.
The answer is 2.
It landed on 2 again. Siri really wants horses galloping. Could that be a sign? Could that be a sign? That could be a sign. So Paula, if you're on Patreon, I can paint you a field of flowers on Patreon. I'm just scared to do it with YouTube. I don't want to lose too many viewers. Oh, thanks, Barbara. Horses galloping in a field of flowers. Field of flowers. It was supposed to be horses galloping on water. I don't know how we can incorporate flowers in there, but maybe we can. I don't know. But Siri definitely landed twice in a row on option number 2, which is horses galloping on a field of flowers. So from Christopher, the light fastness rating of 6 for pigments, is that okay? You're into making your own paints right now since it's cheaper. Hey Rocky, don't worry about the charcoal. I mean, I would have done it, it just didn't land on 4. The only ones it didn't land on were birds and charcoal. But don't worry, we can do charcoal in the future. Don't leave me just because we didn't do charcoal this time, don't worry. Okay. So, let's see. Light Fast 6, I'm not sure. I think Light Fast 1 is the highest. I think Light Fast 1 is the highest. But to be honest, Christopher, most pigments other than genuine alizarin crimson should be fine. They really should be fine. You can even use like probably you can go crazy and use like a rock that you find out and grind it up, turn it into a pigment. As long as it's in a drying oil, such as linseed oil, it'll be fine. All right, Paul, of course. You want to see the movement of water. We can do that for sure. So thank you so much for the super chats, Paula, Tweezel, and Barbara. Again, Ugo, our little puppy here says thank you so much. Thank you so much. We can afford to eat now. Hooray, hooray. Again, seriously, thank you so much for the super chats. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Please share the videos. Yeah, I can use Cobras again. It's currently on my palette right now, and it's what I'm using. So yeah, I can certainly use Cobra again. So if you enjoy this video, definitely share it with someone. Help me out with that. Again, like I said, my views are at an all-time low. So that will help us out so much. Yeah, I can do a poll on Patreon as well. That's a suggestion there for you. That's a good one. I like it. I'm just not the most creative person at coming up with ideas. MC Cannon dog training is a good one. Okay, I can look into that one. I'll write it down. I looked into some dog training. I know I'm not supposed to hold him like this, but I know that much. So look that up on YouTube. All right, I will look it up. Thank you so much. Thanks, Christopher. I'm glad you liked it. Oh, we got another super chat. Oh, thank you so much from Susan. Thank you so much, Susan, for the super chat. Thank you so much. Again, Hugo says thank you. That right there is my favorite pate of dog food. Yeah. Once upon a time, you probably only cared about himself. And now he cares for his puppy. My wife and I care for this puppy a lot. So thank you so much for the super chat. That is so helpful, Susan. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone. So Barbara, your 68-pound dog sits on your lap. Oh, wow. I used to have a 90-something pound Doberman back in the past. Thank you so much, Susan, for the super chats. Again, everyone, I'm so thankful for the super chats. It really helps out so much. We got another super chat. Okay, I might as well just stay here all day. You're gonna keep me here all day. I don't mind. I will stay here. Thank you so much for another super chat, Barbara. Again, if I could train Doggy to dance, he would do his little dance for you. But this is the most he can do for us right now. I mean, he likes to chew on my hair sometimes, so that's kind of entertaining. But again, thank you so much. That right there helps us out tremendously. So thank you so much for another super chat, Barbara. At this rate, I kind of just want to see what happens if I stay here all day. If I stay here all day, I wonder what happens. Dog is yawning. So he is very thankful. Very thankful indeed. We are all thankful. He says, "Put me down, human." Why are you showing me on the camera? I mean, he's almost got the sit command down. Almost. All right, everyone. So thank you so much. Hey, Christopher. Oh, we did paint his portrait last time. But I will be painting his portrait several times because he's going to grow. He's already bigger than he was when I painted his portrait last time. So thanks so much, everyone. And how can I forget? Oh, he is a Shiba Inu that we got from a friend that bred her dog with someone. I'm beginning to think he's actually a mix. I think he's a Shiba Inu mix. But Shiba Inu lookalike is what he is. Which is a Japanese breed dog. Small sized dog that doesn't bark very much. Maybe mixed with, I don't know. He's mixed with something. Who knows what he's mixed with? I should know, but I don't know. Thanks, Barbara. Hey, Joel. Oh, thanks for watching from the Philippines. Thanks for watching. Philippines, home of my favorite pool player of all time, Efren Reyes. Oh, thanks, Barbara and Tweezel. Thank you so much, everyone. Again, I'm tempted to just stay here all day. But I do have a Zoom at 12 o'clock with my Zoom tier students. So how could I forget? Once again, if anyone's interested in taking your online education with me further, please check out my Patreon. Here is the schedule for my Patreon. Everything in black is for $10 a month. Basic level lessons on Mondays, intermediate level to advanced on Fridays. For example, on Friday, we're painting a fairly large Caravaggio with lots of people in it. On Monday, right now, we're working on a very simple intro to still life, introductory still life painting. We have a Wednesday live chat every other Wednesday using Zoom. And then very important, on Tuesdays, we have a virtual classroom video, which is a video I upload every week to give online students feedback on their artwork. So if you ever want to send me images of your artwork for feedback, you can do that for just $10 a month every week or at your own pace. That is on my Patreon. So in case anyone is interested in that. Hey Tweezel, might have missed it. I'll double check, but I did upload it yesterday. But I can always double check for you, but pretty sure I uploaded it. Alright, thanks Tweezel, Paula. So again, special thank you to Barbara, Susan, Paula, Tweezel, and then Barbara again. Thank you so much for the super chats, everyone. I wish you all the very best, and so does Ugo, our puppy. We wish you the very best. And I will see you on the next one.